Welcome to the Mostly All Figured Out podcast with your host, Emily Rose. Regardless of the career field, the lifestyle, everyone is mostly figuring it all out. This podcast is where we pull back the veil of perfection and share true stories, experiences, encouragement, and of course failures, detailing how people just like you are making it all happen, despite the uncertainty, the fear, the imposter syndrome, the setbacks, the shame, whatever it is. If you believe there is more for you than what your life looks like right now, you're in the right place. Let's figure out our next steps together. Now let's get into the episode. Welcome back to the Mostly All Figured Out podcast. I'm your host, Emily Rose, and I'm very excited to have our guest on the podcast today. She's no stranger to podcasting. She herself was on a podcast. I'm sad that it has ended, but we will get into that. I started diving into all the things that our guest has been a part of in Western New York, and it's truly unbelievable. Just a short list to get us started. So this will give it away, but she started her own blog, which kind of kicked off a lot of stuff. We'll get into the name of that. She has a custom jewelry that she makes herself, pop-up shop called Copper and Steel. The podcast was called When's Food. You can still listen to it. Heads or Tails Market. That's one I didn't know about. So she founded Heads or Tails Market. We'll get into that. She ran an event, which I'm wondering if this is still happening. Again, we'll get into it. Buffalo's Best Mocktails competition. Started the Buffalo Blogging Network. Is a certified makeup artist, trained makeup artist. Loves Backstreet Boys, and which is near and dear to my heart, and is the person who brought Pitch a Friend, which is a fun date night situation. Dating setup situation. We'll get into it. To Buffalo, which is really cool. So please welcome Lindsay Robson to the podcast.
Yay. Wow. Saying all those things out loud, I'm like, no wonder why I'm so tired.
Right. Honestly, I kept digging into stuff, and a lot of these things, I knew from following you, seeing, oh, cool, Lindsay's doing that now, whatever. But genuinely, it is so cool to me that you just do this stuff. There's so many things that you must just be like, oh, that'd be a cool thing. And then you actually go and do it. It's amazing.
And you know why? It's because I have these ideas and I'm like, if I'm not going to do it now, someone else is going to do it. So I'm just going to do it.
Hell yeah. I love that. More people need that though. Where do you think that came from? Have you always been like that?
I think it's because I'm a Capricorn, honestly.
Love that.
They're workaholics.
Yep.
I don't know. I've always just loved creating, and I've loved just one of my passions in life is bringing people together, right? So if you see kind of a string that runs through all the things that I've done, it's connecting people. So between, the blogging network and the mocktail event and Pitch a Friend and just all these other things that I've been involved in, the markets and stuff, it's just bringing people together. And that's just something that I love to do. And I feel like we need more of that because in the age of social media, there's not as many in-person things, and we're not meeting people out. We're not doing things in person. So, just to bring that kind of sense of community back to real life, quote unquote, is really important and really exciting to me.
Yeah, I love that. You're from Buffalo, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So do you have a really tight family, or did you grow up in a strong community, with that strong sense of community?
I have my family is very close, but it's just me and my brother and then my parents. So kind of a small, close-knit family. And I've never really had a ton of friends. I've always just really had a small, tiny group of friends. And I don't know, it's just having that small sense of community kind of really pushed me to do things because I had these really close people in my life encouraging me to do these types of things. So I was just I just want to push this out and, push this excitement that I have out into the world and see what comes of it. And it's kind of resonated with a lot of people, which is exciting.
Yeah, it's so cool. So would you say that when you started the blog, Nickel City Pretty, was
Mhm.
that kind of like the kickoff, the launching of like, oh, if I try things, this could be really great. I should keep doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. So that the start of my blog was probably, I would say, like 15 or 14 years ago.
Wow.
And at that time I was married and I was kind of in like a deep depression, I would say.
Mm,
I was just like at this point in my life where I'm like, what even do I like? Like, what do I have any hobbies? Do I have any things that I enjoy? Like, what do I like? And I'm like, well, I've always enjoyed writing. I had a live journal forever. I don't know if you
obsessed.
remember
Of
the days of live
course.
journal. Yes. I was part of like a Twilight fan group, you know.
Hell yeah.
Team
Amazing.
Edward always. Um
Always.
yes. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to like start a blog. I'm going to start a blog. Just going to start writing about things in Buffalo. I was going to start writing about fashion because fashion blogs were like really big back then. That's when like the J. Crew bubble necklaces, every girly had one.
Incredible.
And everyone tried to be a fashion blogger. So I started it. I'm like, I need a cute name. So Nickel City Pretty was born. And I started taking pictures in my backyard, started going out. And at that point in time, Buffalo was kind of getting a bit of a resurgence and businesses were opening up. People were like, oh, Buffalo really is kind of cool. And it's not just like snow and chicken wings. Like, yes, that's a big part of the culture. But there's also like the waterfront and there's different restaurants and stuff, opening up. So I started blogging and things just kind of spiraled from there. I started working with Visit Buffalo Niagara, and I started the interview series part of my blog called Nickel City Gritty, which I went out to every local business that I could find, was interviewing business owners, interviewing entrepreneurs, and it was like fun interviews. So I didn't ask like normal questions like where do you find your inspiration. I asked like, if you were an ice cream flavor, what would you be? Or if you were arrested, what would your friends and family thought that you had done? So that just kind of like brought just like a fun twist to the interviews that I had, and things just kind of like blew up from there. And
Wow.
that was kind of like my origin story, I guess.
That's so cool. So you literally just like you started the blog, you're like, I enjoy doing this,
hmm
and kind of just started knocking on doors of these businesses, and next thing you know, you had people going to you to learn more about these business owners.
Yeah, absolutely. And from there I started noticing that it was like the rise of Instagram, and I started seeing bloggers just kind of like popping up in Buffalo. And I was like, well, we're all doing the same thing. We're all blogging. Yes, we're all doing something different, but we're all in like the blogosphere. So I felt like there should be some kind of a hub where everyone should meet at some point to like talk about what we're doing or like network with each other. So I started the Buffalo Blogging Network, and I would organize one meeting per month in a different business or location in the city. And I would, coordinate with the business owner. Sometimes they would give us a tour of the facility. So we like met with Bootleg Bucha. We met with a chocolatier. We went to the Martin House and they gave us a tour. Went to Public Espresso. So we like went to a bunch of different places in the city, and it was so much fun just seeing all of our friends every week and seeing people cultivate relationships with each other and cultivating relationships with the business owners in the city. It was just like a great way to get out there and to network with one another.
That's awesome. The other thing that I see with you, especially with building all these communities, is that it seems like you really understand the concept of the removal of scarcity mindset, and how when we all win together, we all win together, right? What is the
Mhm.
rising tide lifts all boats?
Yep.
So you seem to really like have that mindset, which is great. I think that doesn't come natural for a lot of people, myself included. It's something that I am working on actively with a lot of areas of my life. But is that another thing that you just kind of like, you have always known that or felt that?
Yeah, I mean, there's room for everyone, especially in Buffalo. I mean, it is still a small city. So it's easy to kind of network with each other. I mean, the thing is about Buffalo, everyone knows everyone. That's like what we always say.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so we all kind of like know each other's business, know what we're doing, but at the same time, there's room for everyone because we're all doing something different. So why not work with each other instead of competing with each other?
Totally. Totally agree. Yeah. Where has there ever been a situation where you started something, there was a project you were excited about, and it didn't exactly go the way you wanted. And it either moved you in an entirely different direction or got even better from going a different route. Like, was there ever fail? I guess basically what I'm asking, was there ever a failure or a failure that you had in one of your ventures that resulted in something that was even better than you originally imagined?
I feel like I wouldn't call them like failures, but the projects do have like their fizzle out point. So like at some
Mm,
point the blogging network did kind of fizzle out because either everyone, was doing their own thing or blogging kind of is not really a thing anymore. So
yeah.
people just got away from it. So that just kind of like fuels my fire to start a different project because, I'm not working on one big thing. I'm just going to start working on another. So, um yeah, I definitely wouldn't call them failures. It's just kind of like I try to like one up myself. I'm like, okay, what's the next like cool thing that I can start doing? And thankfully, like every kind of project that I've worked on, people have really kind of taken to it, which has been great. So it's nice to, the thing about Buffalo is we need more cool stuff. So more like cool
Hmm.
events and cool projects and cool things. So if you have like a really great idea, people are just like they latch onto it, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see people kind of like take that and run with it.
Yeah, totally. What about, I think another reason why I see people having these great ideas and not moving forward on them, one of the things that they'll often say is, well, there's already so many other people who are doing it, right? And the other is like, well, who am I? I don't have enough this or that. I don't have enough experience. Did you ever experience that? And what would you say to those people?
Yeah, I mean, so that's what imposter syndrome, right? So it's like, who
Yeah.
am I? I don't know anything. I don't know what I'm doing, but everyone has to start somewhere.
Yeah.
So the first time you're going to do something, it's going to be the worst, and then you just get better and better from it. Um, there is always going to be another blogger, always going to be another podcaster, always going to be another person that makes jewelry, but you kind of need to find your niche and like what will set you apart from other people to kind of like hone your way in and just make you feel like hey, you can see me, this is what I'm doing. And if you network with the right people, if you are nice and if you
Hmm.
treat people with kindness, people are going to take notice of that and they're going to be like, oh, that person knows what they're doing, or that's like a cool project. So it's just getting the courage to start it and then
Yeah.
just keep working at it and don't give up until you make something of yourself.
Well, that's the key, right? Just getting started.
Mhm.
And I think once you prove to yourself after taking the first step and maybe seeing some successes, hopefully, that gives you more confidence to keep trying with other things.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
you just got to do it, you know?
Yeah, it's scary, but you just got to do it.
Right, exactly. So tell me about Copper and Steel and tell me about Heads or Tails Market. Okay. So, what made you decide, with all the other things that you have going on, that you wanted to start making jewelry? And then, how did the market come about?
So I am secretly a 90-year-old woman, and the fact that I love going to craft shows, I've always loved going to craft shows. It's like one of my favorite things.
Love that.
And since I'm such a big like proponent of Buffalo, I always love shopping local. I think it's like super important to keep shopping local as much as we can, especially now in these days. We all
Yes.
need that.
Yes.
And so I was always like, well, it would be cool if I could make something where I could sell these things at craft shows and basically get paid for being there. So I was on Instagram. This was in 2019, and I came across a chainmail jewelry artist. I think she was based out of Phoenix. And I was like, oh, my brother used to make chainmail like back in high school, but he would just make like sheets of chainmail. He wouldn't really do anything with it.
Hmm.
And I was like, so I'm kind of familiar with the process. I'm like, these are really beautiful. It's not like making suits of armor. It's like making,
Yeah.
something really pretty out of it. So for Christmas that year, I was like, I just want some really like crummy supplies, just buy like the lowest level just to see if I like it. And so I got like a starter kit, started making stuff, and I ended up really loving the process. So I just did a bunch of research, got some good materials, got some good pliers, and then in June of 2020, we all know the pandemic happened that year. I lost my
Yep.
job that I had, and I was like, well, now's better time than ever just to start a business out of this. So I started my business summer of 2020 and I fell in love with it. And so now I'm in this is year 5, which is
Wow.
crazy. I know.
Yeah. Oh my
Mm-hmm.
gosh. I remember when you started it. Like that really does feel like yesterday.
Yeah.
That's
Uh-huh.
awesome.
And my Sue over at Her Story on Hurdle, she was the
Oh,
person that gave me my first pop-up. It was
that's
outside.
awesome.
And it was just like so great to, have someone believe in me and my products. And now I'm, doing big shows and it feels great. It's, I just talked about imposter syndrome. Every time I like apply for a big show, I'm like, they're not going to accept me. So then we're like, when I get an like accepted email, I'm like, oh, okay, that's like really cool. So
Heck yeah.
and then so Heads or Tails came about. So three of my friends, so Pam that runs Crybaby Cross Stitch, and then Tori and Vale who run Radiant Janes, we all got together and we're like, we want to plan a market that is really focused on like fine arts and crafts.
Mm.
Because at a lot of these shows, so, sometimes they let in like MLMs, which is kind of crazy. So I've seen
Mhm.
like Tupperware or like, different things like that. And we're like, no, we want
Mhm.
handmade, high quality products and ones that people just don't slap a Bill's logo on stuff and just like,
Right.
here, just sell that. Because number one, that's illegal. You can't do that.
Right.
Um, so we were like, let's just start our own market. So the four of us came together, started our own market, and we have a bunch under our belt so far. And it's been super fun and crazy stressful and a
Yeah.
lot of work, but it's really rewarding, and it's really great to get to meet so many local business owners and network with each other. And even, we've had people driving from out of state to do our markets too, which is wild. So
Yeah.
it's been so much fun.
So cool. How often a year do you have, like, how many times a year do you do a market?
So we generally did one around Mother's Day, but we got things started a little bit too late this year. But we
Okay.
always like to do one in fall and one at Christmas. So those are like the big
Nice.
major times for markets of the year. So um, people underestimate how much work goes into planning markets. It is a
Yeah.
lot of work.
Oh my gosh, totally. You have so many people to manage, so many logistics. Some people needs
Hmm.
outlets, some people need, certain lighting, like all of
Yeah,
that. Yeah, no,
it's a lot.
trust. Trust. You're talking to an event planner. I totally get it. I give you so much credit with all of that. Um so switching gears a little bit.
Hmm.
Let's talk about dating. So
Mm, yes.
first of all, let's get a little background. So you were married before.
Yes.
So
Hmm.
when did you get married and how long were you married for?
So I got married in 2009. I was married for 13 years, which is
Wow.
bananas. Number one, they should not let 23-year-olds get married. You are too young and you don't know anything. But
Yes. That.
you're 23 and you're like, I'm an adult. I'm like, girl, you are not an adult. Trust. No. But
Not even
I've been
close.
divorced. I've been divorced now about a little over 3 years. So I've been back in the dating game for a while, and it's wild, Emily. It is wild out here.
It's scary, man. Like,
Hmm.
okay, so first question, when you got divorced, were you like bad out of hell, let's go, who's going on a
Yes,
date with me? You were.
100%. I was.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Amazing.
because and because my ex and I were together since I was like 19. So
Wow.
I hadn't dated anyone else. And I'm like, I want to experience the world. And right now I'm like, I don't want to experience any more of the world. I've experienced enough. Like, I just want my peace. So,
Oh
it's like,
no.
it's not to scare you, but it's like, it's weird. It's very weird. I don't know what's going on. I mean, so I'm just speaking, I don't want to anger your listening population, but I'm just
No.
speaking as my experience as a straight woman. Um, Men are not great.
No. Period. That's it.
Yes. I don't know what's going on with the dating single men population. And a lot of times they aren't even single. There are married men that their wives don't know. I mean, I don't know if you're on those Are We Dating the Same Guy
Oh
Facebook
yeah.
groups, but
It's
it is
horrifying.
it's absolutely terrifying. And I don't know what's going on with women now because they are posting like, "Oh, so this man just got out of prison and can anyone tell me any like tea?" I'm like, "Girl, he just got out of prison. Like
Right.
what
That's the
that should be
tea.
your red flag." I
You
don't
haven't.
like
What?
you don't need someone that badly where no. Mm-mm.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? For me, I was the opposite, right? I've been separated from my ex-husband for 2 years now. We've been divorced for, we got divorced last August, so it's been not quite a year yet. But when we first separated, I could not think of anything worse, like to have another man near me. I was like, get away. I was like, if you have a penis, I repel you. Unless you're gay, of course, then come on
Well,
over.
yes.
Right. But so I couldn't think of anything worse. But I like the last couple of months, I've been like, okay, we could try. And so I have like toyed with the apps a little bit over the last couple of years. And like you said, it is horrifying. And then you
Uh-huh.
can't, and now, I mean, thank God for that page, right? Are we dating the
Yes.
same guy? It's great and it's also terrible because we need to be better about not taking screenshots and sending them to these men.
Also, yes, that is the whole. I don't understand why people do that, putting other women in danger. It's crazy.
No,
Like,
it really is. Like I have been one of those women potentially in danger in the past, and it was not great.
yeah,
Um, but that said, I also learned valuable information from a couple people. One who I didn't go on a date with, and because of what I learned, and one who I'd gone on a couple dates with, unfortunately, and was devastated to learn the things that I learned from that page. So the apps now, I'm at a point now where I can't. I'm not doing the apps anymore. It's
no,
not.
I go through phases, right, where I'm like, I delete them all, but then I'm like, you know what? I'm kind of lonely. I would like to talk to someone.
Uh
So then I
huh.
re-download them, and I'm like, it's still trash. I'm not, and then I
Still is.
just delete everything again because I'm like, it's just not. It's not it.
It's not it. So I heard something that I heard on another podcast from this guy. I don't know if you've heard of him. His name is Paul Brunson. He is a TV show host, I think for like a dating show in the UK. But his suggestion, his advice was to go to one of your like more like acquaintances, like so not one of your super close friends or relatives, and tell them that you want to be set up with three of their single friends. They'll probably give you just one, maybe two, but you go to them. And the reason that you go to these like acquaintances is because there's less likely a like network overlap. So they're going to know more people that you don't know. So I haven't tried this out. Well, I sort of did. I did ask one friend, and I do actually have a date tonight through
Oh,
this
good
method.
luck.
So we'll see. So I'm going that route now because I'm not doing these apps anymore. It's too risky.
Yeah.
Do you since you were divorced, how
Yes.
many first dates do you think you've been on
Okay,
since
so
then?
I actually have a note in my phone. I write down the name of every man that I've been on a date with since I got a divorce.
Wait, Lindsay, I have the same thing.
So look, it says but then it says dudes. You can see that right there.
Mine's called date research. I just told my friends this and they made fun of me.
So I'm just gonna, I don't know if we can. Yeah. So these are
Oh
like
my,
all of the men that I've been on dates with. And
that's so devastating.
I'll put a little parentheses next to their name with like a little anecdote about like them or the date or like whatever, just so I can kind of remember, like, ooh, that was the guy that like worked at the weed store, or that's the guy that has like a head tattoo. Just so I can remember, a little bit. So I think last time I checked, it was like, I want to say like 60 something. I
Wow.
first dates, I think. Um,
That's
I'll have to
incredible.
go through. I'll have to go through and count them again. But some have been very interesting. Some
Yeah.
have been not great. Some have like gone into like second and third dates. Some like one went into like a 4 month relationship.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, the longest relationship that I've had since my divorce has been like 4 months, and like this one guy like ruined my life. Well, okay, two guys in
Ugh.
particular ruined my life, but the last one, like he knew from get go that I didn't want to have kids.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever, like I always make sure to establish that. And
Yep.
then 4 months in, like he did the whole thing, like, oh, we're gonna like grow old together, and we're planning all these trips and doing this stuff. And then 4 months in, he was like, I'm just kidding. Like, I want kids. And this guy was like 45 and like was previously married. And I'm like, so you didn't, why
Sir.
do you gotta like waste my time for 4 months? Do
Right.
you know what I mean? So
Ugh.
it's just, I know, collateral damage. But
Yeah. Gross.
now I'm at a point where I just need to not.
Yeah. I hear you. I hear you on that.
Uh-huh.
That's 60 some is a lot. That's exhausting.
It
Did
is
you
exhausting.
where did you find them? Did you find them all on the apps?
Most of them have been on the apps. There have been some that have been like in the wild in person. I'm gonna tell you a story about the worst date ever.
Please.
So I met this guy in the wild. It was at one of my pop-ups. And my mom does 90% of my pop-ups with me, so she always gets to
Cute.
like see whoever I'm talking to. So this guy came over and he was like super cute and
Uh-huh.
we were just like chatting whatever, and I gave him my business card cuz I'm like, "Ooh, maybe he'll like reach out to me."
Mhm.
And he sent me an email. So we like set up a time for a date, and the date, like, we could not have been more opposite. Like we were so he hates music, and I mean, as you know, I'm like,
What?
yes, he told me he prefers to sit in silence. I don't understand.
That's psycho.
Yes, and I mean, you know, I'm like the biggest concert goer ever.
Yeah.
He doesn't sleep on a bed. He said he sleeps on the floor because he likes to feel grounded.
No.
I'm like, okay, because
No.
he like hates pillows. He refuses to use a pillow. He quit his job. He had like a really great job working for UPS for like 20 years. He quit his job because he was he got really into Reiki. And so like Reiki told him that he needed to quit his job. I
No.
was like,
Oh no.
okay. So then he like started writing a book like about, he was like an artist, so he like started writing a like a coffee table book like about his art, and he quit his job. And he was single for like 5 years, and like the previous relationship he had was with a girl who lived in Florida, so they had like a long distance relationship. So I told him, like, I've never told someone like mid date that it wasn't working, but I told this man, I was like, I'm so sorry, but like I feel like you need a very specific type of person, and that's not me.
I'm not
Like
the one. I'm not the
I'm not,
one.
I'm so sorry, I am not the one.
Yeah.
And oh, we went on a picnic to Delaware Park,
Cute.
and he just we were like having um just like a little cheese fruit moment, and he just like reached over and just grabbed my drink, and just drank it. I was like, "Did I
Um,
tell you to that you could have a sip?"
sorry. I do not know you like that. You sleep on the ground.
Right.
So, no.
Mhm. Yeah, so I
Wow.
told my mom after, and she's like, "Are you kidding me? He was so cute." I was like, "Girl, I know." Like, I know.
Like, listen, we're it's a struggle out here, but it's not that much of a struggle, okay?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
you
So I
said.
mean, these men that I've been, going on dates with definitely has not been boring. It has been some interesting things have been happening.
Yeah, you got stories, that's for sure.
Yeah.
You got your
Mhm.
list, which I love. I'm obsessed with that.
Yes. I know.
Oh,
I always say that I want to like write a tell-all book about like all of the first dates that I've been on. So we'll see. That's why I keep my little note in my phone.
I'm obsessed with that and I really hope you do. I will like sign me up for like the pre-order. I'm here for it, 100%. Okay, so what would you give us some advice for first date? Like, how would you prepare for a first date? Let's say you were nervous. I might be.
Hmm. Yeah.
How do you prepare for a first date?
Well, number one, you just need to like be yourself all
Mhm.
out. Like going on so many first dates, I give zero fucks, right? I'm like,
Yep.
this is who I am. You're either gonna like me or you're not gonna like me. Um, just be yourself and just try to have fun with it, even if it's like a disaster. Like still
Mhm.
kind of like find some nuggets. Um, and always have a backup plan. So, I have my location shared with my friends at all times so they know where I am.
Mhm.
Have like a code word that you can text a friend to be like, okay, please get me out of this date if it's going too bad.
Yep.
Or if like you go somewhere where you know like the bartenders be like, if I give you like a signal, could you like get me out through the back door or something? It's
Amazing.
always nice to have a little exit strategy, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
Um yeah, but like the biggest thing is like just be yourself and just try to have fun and realize that it's not that serious.
Yeah.
Right? You can either like this could turn into something or this could be the last time you see this person. So really, who cares?
That's so true. That is so true. I do
And another thing
appreciate.
that like sorry to cut you off.
No, go for it.
Just to like bring back into like being yourself. So I had met this one guy. I as you know, I go to a lot of concerts like out of state and stuff. I was at a music festival in Connecticut and I was just like having a good time vibing. And this guy came up to me and just started talking to me. And I'm like, oh, you're cute. Like, okay, let's see what happens. And so we like hit it off. Like we stayed in touch. And I thought that this was going to be like, oh, maybe we could do like a long distance thing. And we were supposed to like have a little fun weekend getaway, but then he like flaked out on it.
Yeah.
And he obviously like still followed me at Instagram. And I'm like very candid on my Instagram about like dating struggles and things.
Yeah.
And he texted me one day. He's like, can I give you some advice? And I'm
No,
like,
you
oh, okay.
can't.
When a man texts
No,
you that, like, you know, nothing good is going to come out of that.
absolutely,
So
absolutely
I was
not.
like, yes, please give me some advice. And so he basically told me that the reason why I am still single is because I'm too masculine. And he's like, when I first met you, like I didn't know all of these things that you did. So like you were talking about in the beginning, like all these projects that I'm involved in. And he's like, you just need to like lean into your feminine more and just like
Oh my
let the
God.
man take over and just like don't do so much. And I was like, okay, well, if this is how like the modern man thinks that a woman should be like more feminine and to like not have goals and aspirations and work on projects, like I don't want to be a part of it.
No.
Yeah. And then he
Ew.
had the audacity, like after I ignored him, like 2 weeks later, he texted me. He's like, I feel like you're ignoring me. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, you want to know why?
Correct.
I'm like, because you gave me advice that I didn't ask for, and you told me like I had to change myself to get a man, and I'm like, I don't appreciate that. So obviously, yes, we're not talking anymore. I'm so sorry. And that's
Yeah.
when you hit the block button. Like,
Hell yeah. Oh, it's my favorite. I love to hit the black button.
oh, it's the best.
Isn't it so good? Oh, I
Hmm.
just like think about them texting and just never hearing from me again. And it just
It's
makes
the
me, it just
best.
fills me with so much joy.
Yeah.
That,
So like again, be yourself and don't change your personality because you think that you need to be someone else to get a
correct.
partner because that's insane.
Correct. And honestly, you know, tying back to what you were talking about at the beginning of this episode, community. Like we don't the way society is now, we can build community in so many other ways. We can create family in so many other ways.
Hmm.
We can create support systems for ourselves in so many other ways. You
Yes.
don't you don't have to have that like that person,
No.
you know? That's the thing that I'm afraid of now because I have been because, you know, whatever with my marriage and the way that it ended. Truly when we separated, I was just like freedom. And for me, freedom was like this house is mine and my children when they're here, it's everything is going the way I want it to go. Like my
Hmm.
schedule is the way I want it to be. Like peace. It was just like my nervous system finally got to reset and like feel good again. And so it has taken all this time for me to be like, okay, I'm willing to see what's out there and risk my nervous system being destroyed again. But I'm so nervous about it and I feel so silly.
Hmm.
Like my friend I was talking to a friend of mine about like this first date that I'm about to go on. And I'm more nervous about this than the other like few random dates that I've been on between this time. And she was like, you know, maybe Emily, it's because you might actually be open to like a real thing happening. Like you might be now open to a relationship. And like it makes me cringe to admit that that might be true because I'm like, ew, stupid. Why? What? You know? But it
Hmm.
is possible. That said, it is possible. I will say. So I don't know if you've ever met Justin Hofschneider of Wine on Hurdle.
No.
Okay, so he's wonderful. He is my sister went through a divorce quite a few years ago now, maybe 8 or 9 years ago. And she has 4 children. She got married at 19. So very very young.
Mm-hmm.
And she was bad out of hell when she got out of her divorce. She went buck wild, and good for her. She dated anybody and everybody. But she ended up meeting Justin at Wine on Hurdle. And it is so powerful and so awesome for me to see how the great partnership that they have, because up to that point, I'll be honest, I really haven't seen it in real life. Like,
Mm-hmm.
not up close like this. So, seeing how they both work together and support each other, the way that he steps in, the amazing, like, stepdaddy Jay that he is now to her 4 kids, to their 4 kids, like they would both say that, them, it's so awesome. So, it is possible. There are some,
It is possible. I have not experienced it, but
right?
I
There's
feel like
so many dates you went on.
the eligible men are not on the apps.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like they don't want to mess with them. Like, it's not because the people that I saw 3 years ago when I first logged on the apps, they're still there. But and then I
Uh-huh.
have like the realization, like, oh my God, so am I. I'm that person that I'm still
No.
there 3 years later. But it's just like it's very frustrating. And what's even more
Mm.
frustrating, I was just telling this to my friend the other day. I have seen so many guys that either were like I've been on dates with, like in this span of 3.5 years, that now, like in that span, met a partner and are now married. And I'm like,
Wow.
well, huh, like what has happened?
Wow.
Like, and then I'm still like fighting for my life over here. Like, what is going on? So, I'm eventually moving out of Buffalo. So I just have to like think that my person is just not here. So I'm trying to like not let anything discourage me from that. So
Yes.
we shall see what happens.
Yes. And so let's talk about that for a second, because I did see you posting about that as well. So you're going
Mhm.
to Portland, am I
Yeah,
right?
Portland, Maine. I've since getting divorced, also I've been trying to do a ton of traveling, and just like all of the places that I want to go that I wasn't able to before. And I went to New England, like Connecticut, Rhode Island, Vermont. There's a man in Vermont that broke my heart too, which is very rude.
Oh.
And just trying to like travel all over. And last, or was it like a year and a half ago, I really, really fell in love with Portland. And I was
Mm.
like, you know what? I feel like this is where I'm meant to be. And, my brother's in Seattle. My parents are still here, but I feel like they're eventually going to move to Florida because my aunt is there permanently. And I'm like, why not? I'm still technically young, right? I'm 41.
Hell
So why
yeah.
not make a move while I can and kind of like do that? So I recently moved back in with my parents to kind of save money because, girl, everything is so
It's
expensive.
outrageous. The eggs.
So I'm just
Don't even
trying to
get me
like,
started on the eggs.
I'm just trying to save some money and then eventually make a move because it is like I need like just ocean air. At this point in my life, I just
Mm.
want peace and just to like feel like I'm somewhere that is just like peaceful and lovely is kind of like what I'm craving right now. So I'm like, I was telling my one girlfriend, if I'm going to be single, why not do it somewhere that is beautiful
Hell
and
yeah.
somewhere that I enjoy? So that's like my year and a half, 2 year plan. So we shall see how that shakes out. But
I
for now, I'm still a Buffalonian.
Well, I really love that for you. I think that's so great. And it's so in line with all the other things that you do. Like when you are interested in something and you want to try something, you just go and do it. So good for you
Yeah,
doing this thing that is truly for your peace and your well-being. I think that is going to be amazing for you. So I'm excited.
thank
I'm
you.
sad for
I appreciate
Buffalo, but I'm excited for you.
it. But it's an 8-hour road trip, so it's not that far.
Yeah, not bad, not bad. So you luckily, for those of us who are still out here, or just jumping into this dating pool cesspool, you've brought an event to Buffalo
Yes.
that
Mhm.
creates opportunity to meet new people. So tell me about Pitch a Friend and how
Oh
this
my
came to
gosh.
be.
It's so much fun. So last year, like in the springtime, I was on Instagram and I came across this post because you know how like the algorithm will show you, different kinds of posts. And it was this event called Pitch a Friend, and it's based out of Philly. And basically what it is people make like 5 to 6 minute PowerPoint presentations about their single friends and pitch them to a bar full of single people. So I was
Amazing.
like, oh my God, this is an incredible idea. Like, how do I do this immediately? Like, I feel like Buffalo would really just grab a hold of this because it's just something so different. And there's a lot of, speed dating events or, different things like that, but they aren't like super successful. So I'm like, this
Mm-hmm.
isn't speed dating. This is like just something fun and positive. So I was like, well, I need to steal this idea. Um, but instead of stealing the idea, I followed the account, and like a week later, they were like, this went viral. We are now going to open up chapters in a city. So if you're interested in opening up a chapter, reach out to us. So I immediately reached out to them. I was one of the first 5 cities to get on board, and
So
now we
cool.
are in over 50 cities, which is crazy. We're even in Hong
Wow.
Kong, London. I can't. There's a bunch of different other countries that have hopped on board. And it is wild and it is so much fun. And I went to, before I did our first event, I went to Philly to take in one of their events and just to like see the original people, do it, and to see all the people that came out for that. I'm like, okay, I'm like, let's do this. So
Sold.
we've had, I can't remember how many events we've done so far, but we just did one at Alchemy in Hamburg,
Mm.
and that was a blast. Our most well attended ones were, we did a Valentine's Day one at Hartman's, and then we just did one at Wayland. We had about 100, 110 people that showed up at
Wow.
those events. We max out the pitches at 13, so the event doesn't get too long. So people just sign up on our website to pitch their friend. They pay $5, but they get free drink in return, so not a bad deal.
Yeah, great deal.
And then after the event is over, we do a single mingle. So everyone just gets to like hang out. They can meet the people that were pitched. They could meet each other in the audience. The events are always free and open to the public, so anyone can come and attend and enjoy the show. And it's really cool to see people's friends come and support them. Like the very first event that we did, there was a table of friends that was supporting their friend like being pitched, and they all had green shirts on because they said their friend was a green flag. And I was like, that is so wholesome and so cute.
I love
So,
that.
and we actually like have had love matches. Like there was a couple that met at our very first event and they're still together, which is
No
amazing.
way.
Yeah, so we love to see it. So, at the Philly event, they had a couple that met there and they bought a house together,
Shut
and
up.
it's really fun and amazing to see like these real life love matches that are being created. So, I encourage anyone who is single to come on out and just, you don't have to be pitched or be pitching someone to come out and enjoy the show.
It is the coolest thing ever. So I've attended one of them. And it was really so neat. It's so fun to see. First of all, it's really endearing to see the friends do the pitching because
Mhm.
they clearly like love this person so much and just want the best for them. And
Yes.
and it's so funny too. Like there's lots of like funniness, so it's not awkward
Mhm.
at all. And yeah, I just thought it was so fun. I love the concept of it. So I've been needing and wanting to go back. I've thought about like asking someone to pitch me, but I'm a little bit nervous about it. So I'm going to continue to be a spectator and maybe meet some others in the single mingle post part. But I love it, and it's so cool how it's grown now to 50 chapters. It kind of reminds me
Mhm.
of like Creative Mornings, but
Yeah,
dating version.
absolutely, 100%. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I love that.
And it's
Well,
it's fun to see people get like really creative with their presentations. There's this one girl who she had like a quiz time in her presentation. She gave out prizes to the audience for people that got the questions right. So it's
that's
really
great.
fun to see people just like trying to get their friends to find love.
That's so great. So when's the next one?
The next one is coming up. It's at Hartman's. This one's actually an elder millennial specific one. So it's
Love
for
that.
people in their 30s and 40s. It
Okay.
is Wednesday, May 14th at 7 p.m. at Hartman's. So,
Wednesday. I'm writing that down. May
yes.
14th. I guess I'm an elder millennial now.
And then I think we're going to schedule one in June at Rusty Nickel. That will be a new location for us.
Cool.
And then trying to
That's
set one up
fun.
at the Statler. And just, just trying to get to different locations in Buffalo. So
Yeah.
if you are a place in Buffalo that wants to host a pitch a friend, just reach out to me and we can set something up.
It's so fun, and it's guaranteed to get a bunch of fun people in there who are for sure going to drink. So,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's great for the business owners too, because they're like on a night that they normally wouldn't be that busy to have 100 extra people come into their bar. Like,
mhm,
it's awesome.
totally. So, speaking of drinks, you are the queen of mocktails in Western New
Yes.
York.
The
So,
self-proclaimed mocktail queen.
I love it. I love it. So, I'm interested because you mentioned that you went on a date, the crazy date, a picnic at Delaware Park, right?
Mhm.
So, what I have found is everybody's so quick to like, "Oh, let's get a drink. Oh, we'll go and get a drink." Like that's the
Mhm.
go-to date, right?
Yeah.
So, would people like try to get creative, or would you like offer creative ideas for different things so it wasn't always going to a bar and getting a mocktail or a cocktail?
Yeah, I feel like, just kind of spice things up a little bit because everyone's just like Buffalo is such a drinking heavy town. That's like,
Mhm.
okay, yes, we've been to a bar. Yes, we go to this and that. What it's fine. But just like do something different and fun is like so much better than just going out. I mean, sure, going out and getting a drink is fine, but go to Delaware Park and have a picnic or walk around the zoo or like something, I don't know, like cute and different and fun. I'm trying to think of like the last fun date that I went on. Oh, I went to like the Lilac Festival with someone
Oh, that's
once.
fun.
Just to like do, yeah, just to walk around and see different things, and I don't know, just sitting in a bar sometimes can just be so
I know.
boring,
I
you know?
know. It feels like, especially for first date stuff, it feels like an easy way like to not be super committed, like almost if you
Mhm.
do an activity that's too much, like maybe
Yeah.
that's too much. It's
Hmm.
so silly. Even in like figuring out what I'm gonna wear tonight, I'm like, oh, I don't want to be too much, I gotta, like all of it because you don't
We
want to seem too
overthink.
eager, like.
Uh-huh. Overthinking everything is
Yeah,
hard.
so dumb. I'm gonna get better at it. I just have to increase the numbers in my little my date research notes app
That's right.
over here. So let's talk about One's Food. Why
Yeah.
it was so great. When did you guys start doing
Mhm.
it? Why did you ultimately decide
I
it
can't
had run
remember
its course?
when. I remember the exact moment when we decided to start it. So, um, Becky and Pat. Have you heard of the Upstate Social Sessions that was in Rochester?
I have not. No.
So okay, so it was a convention type of thing that it was about all kind of like social media and marketing stuff. This was a couple years ago, and so Becky and Pat were doing a panel discussion about YouTube. So our friends, for anyone who's like in the YouTube sphere, our friends Becky and Chris, they're like super famous on YouTube. They have a helicopter. It's stupid. They're just, they're the coolest people, but also like such nerds, and I love them so much. So they have their own YouTube channel, and then Pat had a YouTube channel with Billy. They started it when they got married in New York City. They were like showcasing the planning that went into their gay wedding and everything, all of that, and then moved to Buffalo. So they did like a YouTube panel, and we saw that there were these girls that were doing a panel about podcasting. And so it was Becky, Pat, our friend Nick, and then that we call Junior, and then myself. And we were like, you know what? We're funny. Like, why don't we start a podcast? Like, this could be kind of cool. And we all kind of like had our own thing that we could add to the podcast where we didn't have to outsource anything.
Mm.
So, I like new marketing. Junior did the graphic design. Pat was the producer. Pat, he has like the background in that. And then Becky had all like the audio editing stuff. So, we said that we were Captain Planet, right? So, Earth, Wind, Fire, Heart.
Love
Together,
it.
we are Wind's Food. So we came up with the name because anytime we got together, the big question was when's food. So like when are we going to get food?
Hell
Because
yeah.
we're always hungry.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and we took one. Every episode was a different topic. So whether it was sandwiches or seasons or holidays or vacations, and we just like screamed about it for 45 minutes. And somehow we got listeners and we won Best Podcast in Buffalo in
Yeah.
Buffalo Squeeze 2020 edition. And it was so fun. And Becky had to take a step back because her and her husband Chris were like working on their own podcast. This was during the pandemic. And then we I think it was like 2 years ago that we ended When's Food.
Mm-hmm.
It was just, we got so much stuff going on. So we're
Yeah.
just like, okay, we're just like, let's just, it feels like a good time to end it. So
Yeah.
we ended the podcast, but it is still available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts to listen to. And I highly recommend the cookies episode. It is very
Yeah.
entertaining.
Noted. We will link
And
to that.
yeah, thank you.
Uh-huh.
And it was so much fun. And it was just a great way to like hang out with each other and produce content. And we like had a lot of highlights. So we did a live podcast episode of the Taste of Buffalo, which was
So
super
cool.
fun.
Yeah.
And then we also, to kind of roll it back, the Upstate Social Sessions asked us to come back and do a panel about podcasting. So we got to do
Wow.
that, which was super fun. So we did like two
That's
live
cool.
episodes. And again, the whole imposter syndrome, we're like, we're just four idiots that like to scream on a microphone. Like, why is anyone listening to us?
That's great.
And it's cool to like get recognized too. Like at the job that I had lost during the pandemic, I was working for Perry's Ice Cream, and we had like some kids in to talk about like they were doing like a mock marketing campaign.
Hmm.
And the one girl was like, "Oh yeah, we can utilize podcasters. Like, there's this podcast, When's Food." And I was like, so like that's my podcast.
Oh my God. That's
That was very
amazing.
cute. So it was cool to like have local people listen to it as well. So that was a lot of fun.
I love that. I remember the first time, well, no, it's been a couple times now. I'm giving myself more credit. The first time I overheard someone talking about my podcast near me, and it was an out of body experience. I like
Mm-hmm.
was up in the sky. Um, excuse me. And like, shout out Amanda, we're friends now. But I was in Public Espresso, and it was the very beginning. Like, I think I had just recorded my third episode, which was with Ben Siegel, who is also on
I
your
love
podcast.
Ben.
We
Yes.
love Ben.
Mm-hmm.
And she was talking about my episode before, which was with Sam Scarcello, another gentleman that we both love.
Sam's the best. Yeah.
We love him. So I just can still remember her saying she was in a meeting and she was talking about like, oh yeah, I actually haven't been to Public Espresso before. I was just listening about it in a podcast that I was listening to. And I was like, oh my God, she's talking about me. It is the coolest thing. Okay. I'm seeing what time it is. So I have one final question for you.
Okay.
So I asked this question to everybody who is on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And the question is, let's pretend, if you will, that it is your last day on earth. Okay, you've had a great life, super fulfilling. You've had so much peace. You in Portland, just like you did it, and it was great, and it was so wonderful, and you kept creating and you kept building stuff, and it was amazing. You can only leave behind 3 lessons that you learned in your time here on earth. What are the 3 key things that you would leave behind?
Ooh, this is a good question. Okay. I would say number 1, don't give a shit about what anyone thinks of you
Love that.
because that would just like, you don't shrink yourself to fit someone else's mold. Just like you do you and be who you are and be proud of that in every aspect of life, from, your hobbies, your sexuality, your, goals and aspirations. Like, just be who you are. Number 2, I would say be fearless in terms of like starting a new project or, going on that date or whatever. Just like, don't let fear hold you back, and, just go out and just do the things. Since post divorce, I was like, I'm just going to do all of the things and not let being scared of something hold me back. And number 3, I would say just like have as much fun as you can have in life. Like, life is too damn short. Like, I know so many people that unfortunately have lost their lives at a young age or, are sick or whatever. And you don't know when your last day is going to be, right? So try to make it as fulfilling as possible. Try to have as much fun as possible. Laugh so much, and just like try to find the little joy in everything, because you never know when it's going to be your last day. So just do it and have fun. That would be like the major things, I would say.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Write it down, everyone. Live by it. I love it. That's great. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for taking this time and chatting with us and being so open about your dating experiences. I really so appreciate it. It's very helpful
And
to
good
me.
luck tonight on your date. I'm very
Thank you.
excited for you.
Thank you.
I hope he has a bed and listens to music.
Fingers crossed. Where should people go? Where can they go to find you? We'll link everything, but let us
Oh
know.
my gosh, all the things. So my main account on Instagram is Nickel City Pretty, so you can find me there. You can find my jewelry business at Copper and Steel Buffalo on Instagram and Facebook. You can find Pitch a Friend. It's pitchafriend.buffalo on Instagram and also Facebook. If you want to buy my jewelry, like I do so many shows throughout the year, so you can find that on Copper and Steel. Follow Heads or Tails on Instagram. I'm like, what projects am I working on?
I know.
So many
So
things.
many.
I post about everything on my main account, Nickel City Pretty, so you can find all of it there for all of my insane dating stories.
It's great. We love it. Please keep posting about it because although right now you're in your peace mode, so
I am in my peace mode, so
we'll
but
see.
you never know. I might get like lonely next week and re-download Tinder, so we'll see what happens.
Right. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this, please share the episode. Obviously, you did, so definitely share it. And yeah, we'll see you next week. Thanks.
If you enjoyed this episode, there's a few things you can do to really help your girl out. Please subscribe, rate the podcast, give me a little review. All those things really do help me in a lot of ways. And this year, I'm really trying to expand my reach. I'm trying to get this podcast in front of more people who might need it. My people, our people. So let's keep growing this beautiful community of nice people who are just trying to be their best selves. So if you know someone who might like it, please send them the link, share it in your stories, tag us, which is another thing you can do, actually. If you're not already, please follow us on Instagram at Mostly All Figured Out. I've actually been very good about posting new episodes every Friday, so you can see who is up. You can get some little previews, sneak previews with some sound bites that we post throughout the week. And it really helps, again, in expanding our reach a little bit and getting us out there in front of more people. So thank you for doing that. Thanks for listening. Thanks for supporting. Love ya.